That's where I'm at. I'm all in. I know when I signed the list, the paper said I will, and they asked me to serve. I said I will. I didn't realize that it was all. You know. Well, my name's Larry Rodgers. They call me Brother Buck. That's a nickname, really, but I tried to get rid of it, and I couldn't get rid of it because everybody loved Buck. I mean, it was just a nickname. I never saw Buck Rodgers on TV, but I bet I know more about him than you do from people telling me. So, well, just don't call me late for dinner. I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I'm a UMC pastor. I got 2 Point Charge Church in Snyder, Texas. Preach at 9:30 and then turn around and preach at 11 o'clock every Sunday. And I'm afraid to talk. I'm an introvert by nature. You know, I would be all right in my corner, minding my own business, you know, stay there forever. Yeah. And then Evan got me up here in front of 400-something people. Wow. But I told her I would tell her how Kairos literally changed the course of my life. Before I do that, let me tell you a little about myself. Like I said, I was born and raised in Dallas, married to a wonderful lady named Lily Rodgers. We have 3 children, 6 grandchildren, and my grandchild, she told me to do it. I don't know how to do it, but I told her I'll give it a try, but she loved to show me how to do that, so I told her I was going to do it. I have 5 brothers and 5 sisters. One sister's going to be with the Lord. My father's going to be with the Lord. And the rest of my family live in Dallas. And what else? Let me tell you, I'll tell you a story about a friend of mine. We was talking the other day, and we was talking about things that you have no control over. You know, mostly what God have control over, like nature, things like that. You don't have control over who your parents gonna be. You know, you don't have control of who your siblings gonna be. You know, that things like that. You don't have control over when you're gonna be born and what age you're gonna be born in. You know, if I had a child, I probably would be born in somewhere in Middle Ages. I think I would love to be. I think life was much more simpler then, and you could be yourself, and you know, I think everything was striving. I'm not a history buff, but I did study a little history, and I think if I had a choice, it would be around 14th, 15th century, somewhere around there. But unfortunately, I wasn't. I'm a boomer, so I was born in a time where it was turmoil. You know, it was the height of the civil rights movement. My country was in turmoil. There was a lot of protests, riots, assassination, civil unrest, you know, and just imagine growing up as a young boy and you facing all of this. You go to church and they said, love thy neighbor as thyself. When you leave church, it's a whole different thing. For me, I think I really got mixed up in that. And I got caught up in that because I didn't know what was what, you know. And seen a lot of things I don't even want to recall. But it had to shape my life in some form or fashion. So I was downtown Dallas. It was in 1963, I think. I was about 6, 7, 8 years old. It was a big parade. President of the United States was coming to town. I mean, the street was lined for miles. I mean, people on top of buildings trying to get a glance at the motorcade. And and all this, and we was there, I wasn't into politics. I just want to have a good time and party and have a parade and see all the people, and we did. I had a chance to see the motorcade pass by, President waved. After it was all said and done, it was time to go home, and got back home. Mom, everybody in the house was crying and weeping and going on, and the TV was blurring. I wonder what happened. Said the President of the United States just got assassinated. Wow. Right here in Dallas, Texas. It didn't dawn on me till years later, what really had transpired. 5 years after that, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King got assassinated. What kind of world is that supposed to have been for me? Coming up. Men going to the moon, Vietnam era going on, women's rights going on. It was very confusing. Now, don't get me wrong, I was born in the inner city, in the hood, they call it. You might know what I'm talking about. And life was just almost like a jungle. Everybody don't make it out of the hood unscathed, A lot of them do, a lot of them don't. I thought I was making my goal that I wasn't going to get caught up. Because for some reason or another, I believe love thy neighbor. I don't know why, but baby, I was raised that way. My parents had a nice set of parents. Took us to church. They thought we had a baseball team. Whenever we come to church, we load up the station wagon, and everybody come piling out, going each way. Game on, But when I got of age, and I just wanted to get out of the hood, I just wanted to get out of this place, so I just decided to join the military. Seeing a billboard said, join the Navy and see the world. Hey, man, that's it. That's me. I can get out of this here place here, and man, I can, really try to do something or be something. And I did. I joined the Navy, and my first assignment was United States submarine. After USS Hammerhead, during my tour of duty, that was my home. That was my mailing address. You want to get hold to me, that's where I was at. And like I said, it was during the Vietnam era, and so we did a lot of things, on that sub. A lot of people ask me, how long did you stay underwater? Well, it varies. I stayed a couple of months, maybe 3 months, without surfacing, So it was something, but I had a chance to travel most of the world, from Canada to the Arctic Circle. We broke up through the North Pole, the Arctic ice, went to UK, Scotland, Guantanamo Bay, Philippines, Japan, Hawaii, off the coast of Africa. We traveled a lot. We did a lot of things, and, I got a chance to see the world and got a chance to get away from the world that I was living in, and, hoping things may be right by the time I get back. I did 6 years active in reserve, and had a great time. I got back to the States. Things hadn't changed that much. It was kind of mellow, but, it just wasn't right. And I had a goal. Didn't work out that right, the way I wanted to. See, like every time I took a step forward, I got knocked back 2 steps. There wasn't no hero welcome. We did some real tough stuff in the Navy. We did what we call special ops. You know, we went across the enemy line, point of no return. And it got kind of hectic for a little while. But I learned a lot. I learned how to get along with people. 100 of us on this sub, we had to get along with. One person can sink the whole ship. So you had to get along no matter who you were. We got back, I got medals, some of the Navy's top medals. I got a couple of them and, letter. Served in the Cold War, the Vietnam era, and the Silent War. If you don't know about the Silent War, that's why it's called Silent War. If I tell you about it, I have to shoot you. You know what I mean? But it was during that time that, behind the lines where you really come to grip with yourself, with life, because any second, anything could have happened. The Silent War is still going on. That's exactly why I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but know that it's there. They make you sign a statement saying that if you don't return, they're going to tell your mom, dad, family that you had an accident, sub sank. That ain't the truth, but that's what they're going to tell you. When I got back to the States, I wanted to be a cameraman. I worked for the local news station. I started out in the mailroom on the newspaper side and then ready to go to the studio for do some more training. And I don't know what happened between those 2 years that I did that work, but something happened that, changed my mind about life in general. And I did some things that I regretted. Made some serious mistakes. Well, I wouldn't even call them mistakes because I knew what I was doing. It wasn't like I didn't know what I was doing. But it cost me a lot. And I found myself being in and out of jail. I was running with the prodigal son. Me and him was like brothers, you know what I mean? We hung out for some years together. But see, he had a little sense. He came to his senses. He went on back to the Father, and I stayed hanging out. You know what I mean? When I finally come back to my senses years later, I ran back to the Father. But the damage was done. Now it was time to pay the price. I can go into some details of what happened, and boy, I tell you, you wouldn't look at me the same no more. But for the sake of time and just don't want to get your head all messed up, I find myself facing time. Went to court. So now what? If I back up a little bit, I knew, like I said, what I was doing. I knew the consequences. And I had stopped. I really had, and believe it or not, I had surrendered myself to the Lord. And I just wasn't discipled. But my past caught up with me, so there wasn't no turning back then. So after a few years, I got heavy into the Word, started studying, doing this and that, and trying to keep my nose clean. And, my wife divorced me. The dog ran away. No money on the books. It was tough. I wrote my mom, apologizing. She wrote back and she said that she couldn't write again because her heart was broken. I can really see the tears on the letter. If it was actually there, I can tell it by the way she talked. She was crying when she wrote that letter. What is I'm going to do? Well, I went to this unit, I went to another unit, and then I came to a unit in Lubbock, Texas, the Mumford unit. And every time I go to a unit, I go find out where the chapel at first thing, and then I want to see what the church looked like. And I went to the Mumford unit, and the first day I got there, I went looking for the chapel, and there was some guys in there rearranging stuff and furniture. I was like, what's going on, brother? I'm new on the camp, this and that. And they was telling me about something about Kairos. And I said, well, what is Kairos? And well, they went on to tell me about these people coming in, man, with food from the outside. It'd been 3 years where I had a hamburger, a Coke, or anything. And they were saying, well, man, they had music, they had testimony, and, some guy had stashed some bananas away already. Man, try this, So I said, well, how you get in there? I'm a Christian. Well, they coming back in 6 months. I said, well, sign up for it. I will, And when they came back, time for them to come back, you had to fill out an I-60 form. I fill out a I-60 and say, hey, I want to be on Kairos, send it to the chaplain and everything. And they had just did a number 1, so there was number 2 coming up. And I signed up and I didn't get it. I was about hot as a firecracker too. Man. Here I am, I'm getting my life together and, I'm trying to be a Christian, and now you turn me down. What? This a Christian organization? What is it? Then they say, oh man, they just get all the mean guys, man, the gang members and the racists and the haters. And I say, well, I might need to be a hater. I'm about married to one, but I didn't make it. So it came again that following year. I signed up first, want to send my little form in. Lo and behold, I made it. Great. Wow. Amen. Kairos number 3, 1998. John Mumford unit. What a blast. What a blast. It really was. It was all they said it was and more. It was great. How you, at the closing, they asked you these 3 questions. What was your spiritual condition before you arrived at Kairos? Well, I was hot. I was mad because I didn't make the last one. But now that I'm here and I experienced all the good stuff, it was great. I had the love like that. And I said, well, no, I wasn't. I was just anxious, really. I wanted to see what it was all about. They said, well, what did you find when you got here? Love, I found some brothers that come and tell their stories, and man, I don't feel too bad now from what I've done. Some of them could have been right here. So it was, I found love, I found, peace, I really had a better moment. I really did. I felt the presence of God in the place like I never felt before. It was like confirmation. It was, man, I'll never forget it. Just looking at it overall, it renewed my faith in God because I was really hanging in the balance. It could have went either way. I could have turned back real quick, and then I experienced this Kairos, and it just melted my heart. They said, well, what you going to take away from here? I said, well, I'm going to pay it forward. That was in 1998. You think I'm all in? You think I'm paying it forward now? Yes. It's been over 20-something years. I'm still paying it forward. Amen. So, in order to do that, I wanted to be on a team. So at that time, you had to wait a couple of years before you can qualify in Texas to go back in. And I waited and I waited, and I served on the outside team. I cooked, clean, wash dishes, take out trash, whatever it was that the team needed, helped the guys go in, being a runner or whatever. And when my time came, I went in. Woo! I was ready. You know what I mean? They give me a talk, and it wasn't choices. I made some bad choices, but being a Christian, I gave that talk. And after that, man, I worked 4 more at that unit. Then I went to another unit, started number 1 over there with the rest of the guys. We had broke off, got big, then started number 1 over there. And number 6, I became a weekend leader. And then after that, I wanted more, So I talked to the current state rep about going on with him. I said, well, you can get an alternate. He said, yeah. I said, well, I'll go with you. Went to the state and observed the state. And man, I said, well, this is good. I'm learning more and more about Kairos, and God bless his soul. State rep, he passed on, and then I wound up being the state rep protection. I like that. Kairos, I was learning more, and I was, anxious about it. But let me back up for a minute, because I want to tell you something about being on a unit. God really had worked in my life there. I went to being, you would say, the resident of chaplain, up there. The chaplain was too busy. He couldn't make it. I wound up getting a word. I don't know what I was doing. I was just witnessing, I remember one night I was sweating on that hot bed, tossing and turning, and I repented, and Lord, if you would just show me how to walk. I know how to walk in the streets. I know how to do it, shake it, bake it, roll it, whatever it is, I can do it, but I want to know you. And it wasn't nothing but a few days later, and I just heard the voice say, follow me. And still being naive, I'm doing the best I can. Every time the door opened, I'm there. Every time, Kairos come, I'd have the place all cleaned up, ready, and he just kept hearing, follow me, follow me. I'm still trying to understand what he was saying. So I just walked in the path that he gave me. And I tell you, I became the inside rector. I became a servant. You might see me on that picture somewhere. I don't know. It ain't too hard to find me standing up. I'm not doing a gang sign. I was just holding my the wind was blowing out there, and I had to hold my bag down. But somebody said I was throwing a gang sign. But I became real known on that camp. I started a Bible study with 3 guys. It turned around to be 70 guys on a 300-man camp that come to Bible study every day. I had 7 to 8 Kairos volunteers coming in just to sit in to hear me teach. And I know I shouldn't do this to her, but it's one of them that's in here right now. And I would really like y'all to see and meet her. Now, if you want to stand up, she don't want to stand up real. She's my hero. She's been with me from day one. Miss Teddy, I ain't gonna let her stand up. I ain't gonna ask her to stand up, but she always been in the background. Well, I tell you what, the person sitting in front of her looked like Santa Claus. The big guy in the glasses there. Yeah, there she is. I love her to death. Really. That's all in right there. I relocated from Dallas to Lubbock, Texas, and looking for a church home, and I went to Lake Ridge United Methodist Church. I didn't know she was a member of Lake Ridge. It's a mega church, 2,000 members, and I was the only one there that looked like me. I'm saying, Lord, how in the world can this happen, you know? One lady asked me, they'd heard about me teaching in the prison, they asked me to come and teach the Sunday school class, and I came, I taught the class. They asked me to come back. There are teachers on a sabbatical, and I never saw the teacher 13 years later. Never saw him. I was there, taught that class for 13 years, being the only one there. How did this happen? I pleaded with the Lord to get me out of this mess. Lord, I promise you. See, my plan really was to get out, do right, pay my fees, find me a little church, sit in the back, don't bother nobody, and wait on Jesus. That was my plan. Never got a chance to do it. So, thank God for people like Teddy, and there were some others. You know, I got a job with a small engineering firm, and I was doing remediation work. That's kind of like oil and gas removal. We'll go in and pull tanks and we'll put pumps in wells, and we draw. You know, I did that for about 12 years, and my pastor kept encouraging me about going to school. I always wanted. I said I was going back and get my degree. So I wound up going back to college and got my bachelor degree in Christian ministry. Took me 5 years, but I got it. You know, doing well. Got married to my wife, Lily. Well, I tell you, if she was here, she's in Indianapolis right now. But if I tell you, everybody, how in the world did you get that? Man, you're way over. What are you talking about? Don't you believe in God? I did. You know, hey, bring it on, Lord. And he did. He blessed me, man. I mean, it wasn't nothing that I wanted, I didn't want, that I didn't have. And, you know, life was going good. And, I mean, you know, then my pastor come back again talking about, do you feel called? I said, I'm called, you know, but I like it right here. This is good enough, you know. I'm already in a situation where I'm, you know, confused a little bit. God straightened that up one time. He said, you remember all them good songs you sang? Trust and obey. You know, and wherever you sent me, I will follow. Well, he called me out on it. And I wound up staying there for 15 years almost. But then he asked me again, what about seminary? I said, well, see, Pastor, you know my record, you know my history, you know, people's not going to, you know, pay. He said, you never know until you try. You never know. And then I did. And I applied, and I enrolled in Asbury Theological Seminary. And 6 years later, I wound up getting my degree, a master's in divinity. Amen. Woo. Man, one thing in drawback was I thought I could talk good. It twisted my head up so bad with the Greek and the Hebrew, and I mean, I don't, even right now today, my tongue's still twisted, you know. And I told you I'm a simple person, and I like a simple life. I like to keep it down to the lowest common denominator. I don't want to, you know. And then next thing you know, I get a call in my house, me and my wife sitting around, and it was a call from Kairos Prison Ministry International. I said, whoa. And they asked me would I consider running for the IC. What? You know? I said, no, I didn't understand. I said, you know, he said, well, we really could want to put your name in the hat, you know. And I said, well, I looked at my wife, she looked at me, and, you know, at that time, Kairos, I see, that's it, man, you big time, you know. And so I said yes, and they said, well, okay, the conference is in Florida, and come on down, and then we'll have a battle. And I come on down, and it was 7 people running for 4 position, and it was a battle, I tell you. They elected 2, then they elected 2 more, and then they couldn't elect nobody else. Everybody was so close, and they went again, they picked 1 more, and there was another battle. It was down to 2 people, and then, you know, either me or him, and so then next thing you know, it was him. So I said, oh, okay, thank you, God. I was ready to go home then, man, I tell you. You know, but it was a great experience. And that person came and he resigned. He didn't want to take the position. Well, that person is in here too today. And me and him become best friends. I mean, come to find out, he didn't want to put my name in the hat. In the first place, Mr. Ed. So I did. I served 2 terms on IC, and then here you go again. Somebody asked me, well, I consider running for the board of directors. No way. Now that is big time. And then next thing I know, someone had put my name in the hat again. And then they told me I was unanimously accepted. I mean, wow, you know. So here I am now, going into my 2nd term, and I tell you, Kairos changed the course of my life. It really did. Like I said, God is not through. I went to a seminary, graduated, I got a 2-point charge, and just this June I went to the annual conference on the UMC annual conference, and then I got commissioned. And the bishop laid hand on me, 2 or 3 bishops laid hands on me and invoked the Holy Spirit on me. And that's Kairos. That's all in. And that's all I have. Thank you.